So in this analysis, we're going to look at the subtle differences between keeping your body straight and elongated in the backswing versus bending your knees in the backswing, and how that translates to the overhead row and then finally to the final catch position. And so on the left side, you'll notice that Andrea is very straight and her body's nice and long, where on the right side, you'll notice that her arms are a tad bit more bent, her knees are bent, and she's a little bit more short in comparison. And so the longer you are, the faster you fall, and the easier it's going to be on the front swing. And so we'll take a look first at her the right side, and you'll notice she tries to straighten it out there as she comes down, but she kicks her knees a little bit early. And now let's look at the overhead row. As she goes into her overhead row, you'll notice that right about here her elbows start to bend down. So she's starting already to pull on the rings instead of relax. And when she pulls on the ring, she pulls her elbows towards her hips, which is a very traditional method for a kipping muscle up. You'll notice as we move forward, it becomes more pronounced. You'll notice that the arm bend, instead of rowing backwards with her elbows like a sumo, she's pulling her elbows down. And so now let's look on the left side. You'll notice that as she goes into it, she's nice and long and relaxed. And then as she kicks, when she starts to row backwards, it's a very subtle difference, but it's there, and it's enough to translate to a higher catch. So here you'll see that her elbows are, even at this phase, are more rowing backwards, more like a sumo deadlift high pull with maybe a kettlebell. And so you'll notice the difference in the angle of the ring straps. Her rings are farther behind her on the one to the left than they are on the one to the front, and that's what we're trying to do. The rings go back, the body rises, and so she's higher in the air in her body wave. Now, Andrea could wave a little bit more in her chest, but you'll notice that because her elbows are not pulling down and starting to sit up, you'll notice that what she's able to do is actually widen the rings a little bit so that her body moves through the rings without as much resistance. So let's go ahead and see how this translates to the catch. And as she comes on top of the rings, look at how her shoulders come through the rings very low. And in this one, you'll notice that there's a much higher catch here. Her shoulders are above the rings at this point, and her body is more vertical. Where on the right side, you'll notice that she's down lower on the rings. And so these minor differences all start in the backswing, and so these are progressive. If you tighten up your backswing and make your body longer, then it will be less energy as you kick in the front, which is going to translate to basically less weight when you row, allowing you to row backwards a little longer, get the rings back farther so that the body rises higher. When the body rises higher, then the catch will be higher.